It's early January 2026, and Mali and Burkina Faso have announced full travel bans on United States citizens, effective immediately from New Year's Day. The move is widely described as a reciprocal response to United States entry restrictions expanded under President Donald Trump on December 16, 2025, which took effect on January 1, 2026. U.S. officials have stated that the measures were based on updated security and compliance assessments, while affected governments have characterized them as discriminatory. These bans are not occurring in isolation. They coincide with what have long been identified by analysts as a period of intensified insurgency, political instability, and shifting external alliances that have increasingly defined the Sahel as one of the world's more complex crisis regions. Hey everyone, welcome back to World Powers Fusion. Today, we're breaking down, based on available data and reporting, what triggered the Sahel visa bans, the political and security dynamics in the region, and the humanitarian implications that may follow. Let's begin with a brief description of the Sahel. Mali and Burkina Faso, both independent from France since 1960, are located in the Sahel, a vast semi-arid zone commonly characterized by economic fragility, climate stress, ethnic diversity, and historically limited state presence in peripheral regions. Demographics are frequently referenced in the discussions of this conflict. Mali's population is estimated to be roughly 90% Muslim, with long-standing tensions involving nomadic communities such as the Tuareg and Fulani, groups that have often been described as politically marginalized. In Burkina Faso, the population is estimated at approximately 60% Muslim and 25% Christian. In recent years, insurgent violence has reportedly exploited communal and sectarian divisions, including attacks that some sources describe as targeting Christian communities. Beginning around 2012, armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIS are believed to have capitalized on these grievances, alongside a Tuareg rebellion in northern Mali, to expand operations across borders. By the mid-2010s, the region had come to be widely cited as one of the world's most lethal conflict zones. Today, Burkina Faso alone is reported to have over 2 million internally displaced people, according to government statements and United Nations estimates. International responses initially focused on counterinsurgency. France launched Operation Barkhane in 2014, supported by U.S. intelligence sharing, drone surveillance operations based in Niger, and military training programs. A large UN peacekeeping mission also operated in Mali during this period. These interventions are sometimes credited with early territorial gains against insurgent groups. However, long-term stabilization reportedly stalled amid civilian harm, governance challenges, and limited progress on development and climate resilience. Over time, public perceptions shifted. In some communities, extended foreign military presence came to be increasingly portrayed as ineffective or reminiscent of earlier forms of external control. By the early 2020s, anti-Western sentiment had reportedly grown in parts of the population. Frustration with civilian governments is frequently cited as a contributing factor to military takeovers. The governments were seen as struggling to contain the insurgency while maintaining close alignment with Western partners. In Mali, Colonel Assimi Goïta consolidated power following coups in 2020 and 2021. In Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré assumed leadership after 2 coups in 2022. The new authorities emphasized sovereignty and revised security approaches. French forces were expelled, U.S. military cooperation was reduced, and portions of Western aid were temporarily suspended, reportedly due to concerns over delayed democratic transitions. Russia subsequently increased its presence, initially through Wagner-linked elements, later reorganized under what has been referred to as the Africa Corps. In 2023, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger announced the formation of the Alliance of Sahel States (AES), described as a mutual defense and economic framework aimed at reducing reliance on Western-aligned institutions such as ECOWAS. The U.S. decision to expand entry restrictions on Mali, Burkina Faso, and other developing states was officially justified on security grounds, The December 2025 proclamation cited high visa overstay rates, weak identity verification systems, limited information sharing capacity, and difficulties repatriating deportees. Burkina Faso's student and exchange visa overstay rate was reported at approximately 23%, alongside broader concerns over civil registry reliability under military administration. Mali and Burkina Faso responded by announcing reciprocal restrictions on U.S. citizens, effective January 1, 2026, describing the move as a matter of sovereign equality. These bans have created counter-effects on the Sahel, especially in the areas of tourism and humanitarian assistance. Tourism impacts here are limited, because travel to much of the Central Sahel had already been minimal due to long-standing U.S. Level 4 travel advisories, citing terrorism and kidnapping risks. Potential effects may be more apparent in the humanitarian and technical assistance sectors. Thousands of USAID workers, medical professionals, and agricultural specialists have historically operated in the region. U.S. humanitarian assistance has reportedly amounted to hundreds of millions of dollars. And aid groups have raised concerns that travel restrictions could complicate logistics and staffing. Across the Central Sahel, more than 30 million people are projected to require humanitarian assistance in 2026, according to UN estimates. The reciprocal bans coincide with what analysts describe as a broader geopolitical reorientation. Sahelian authorities have increasingly signaled closer engagement with Russia and China, as Western involvement has contracted. Security trends remain disputed, with conflicting interpretations depending on source. Both the U.S. restrictions and reciprocal measures include review provisions, suggesting they may function as leverage or signaling tools rather than permanent closures. This has been a data-informed overview of the Sahel travel bans shaped by overlapping security assessments, political transitions, and humanitarian pressures. As with many geopolitical developments, interpretations vary, and longer-term effects remain uncertain. Stay informed. I'll see you in the next one.